California Governor Gavin Newsom, he's under fire again, this time because his administration have embraced natural gas in an effort to keep costs down and prepare for future blackouts. On Thursday, California's Public Utilities Commission, which is appointed by Governor Newsom, voted unanimously to approve the expansion of the Aliso Canyon gas storage facility in Porter Ranch. If you recall, it's the site of that huge methane leak that happened in 2015. The vote coming despite neighbors' fears. They've called this facility a clear and present danger in a recent letter to the governor. For more, we're joined right now by Dr. Issam Najm, an adjunct associate professor of civil and environmental engineering at UCLA. You have quite the resume. I know you also served as the president of the Porter Ranch Neighborhood Council for 4 years. So obviously, you're very well versed as to what happened, to the history. Over 100 days of that methane leak. Neighbors had to move. So the decision to the vote, what are neighbors saying? What's the talk of the town?
Well, thank you very much for having me. This certainly was a gut punch to the community. It was very difficult to take. It stung. An unanimous vote in support of raising the volume in the field was just a blow to us. We are having a hard time understanding it. We're having a hard time understanding why the PUC would not even mention the concerns of the community about the health impacts and the risk to the community and our children. It is stunning. That
is surprising, not even having the public speak out. What is the next step, do you believe? What is the neighborhood wanting to do to fight back?
Well, right now, this was an interim decision, as they emphasized in the vote discussion. There is an ongoing proceeding that ultimately will decide the fate of this facility that has been ongoing since 2017. And this proceeding is scheduled to end by the end of the first quarter of 2024. So by March, we will have a final decision from the PUC on the future of Aliso Canyon. However, considering the step that they took now, we have far less confidence that the PUC is actually heading in the direction of closing this field.
So this preliminary vote, it comes just weeks after the commission announced a settlement, finally, with Southern California Gas over that 2015 leak. Do you think the settlement made it like a closed chapter, where the committee's decision was saying, you know what, this is the decision, we know that this mistake was made, we can now move forward?
I don't believe that. I think that settlement was really just a way to close that proceeding and move on out of that aspect of it. But the reality of it is that amount of settlement was minuscule. Just to put it in perspective, the 27 billion cubic feet that they granted the industrial customers of SoCalGas to put in the field will generate about $94 million for SoCalGas just in storage fees. And so that money is going to be collected very quickly.
Let's say you were assured that Governor Gavin Newsom was listening to your conversation right now. You have his ear. What would you say is your main concern and your neighbors' main concerns with this decision?
The challenge that we have is that there is no recognition in the PUC that this is a toxic chemical producing facility. There's no mention of it in any of the decisions that have been made, and that is a very frustrating fact. This was not a gas leak or a gas blowout. This was a toxic chemical blowout, and the chemicals will continue to be emitted as long as the facility is operating. And the more it puts gas in the field and the more it processes gas, then it will generate more and more of these toxic chemicals. They have to understand that this is not about gas numbers and dollars. This is about people's lives. And once they start looking at it from that perspective, we are confident that they will do the right thing.
Yeah, you have to wonder the proximity to homes and neighborhoods, not just Porter Ranch, but other neighborhoods so close to that Aliso Canyon property. What will they do next? And what would they do to prevent a tragedy like the one that happened in 2015 moving forward? Dr. Issam Najm, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.